Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armory. Welcome to All Five Tier Podcast. Welcome to X. Hope everyone is doing well. And welcome, G. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a little bit frustrated, as I think a lot of Arsenal fans are at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously we're going to get into that in the show. But yeah, generally speaking, everyday life, I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Well on 2 weeks. So yeah, let's get into the comments because I know that they've been building up. As always, big up to Angie saying hi, Bobby, hi, Gooners. Tamina's asking, as always, loads of questions. I'll try to remember as many as I can, Tamina, but I will go through them. I'm going through them on the screen at the moment, so just bear with me. Just going through loads. Ben White is not. Well, this one's an interesting one. Ben White is not good enough for this team. Get rid of him and sell him too, and get me a better right back. I would definitely have to disagree with that one. I think the
Yeah.
right back and a couple of other positions are perfect. Personally, I think right back is just stunning. Personally, obviously, I'm a right back myself, so this is like heaven for me. Two fantastic right backs. I couldn't ask for anything better, personally. And going back into my many, many years of being an Arsenal fan, I don't think I've seen two better right backs at the club at the same time. Personally,
Mm,
not that I can think of anyway. Nothing that rings comes to my head if I can think of any.
yeah,
Um,
I think we've had some exceptional right backs over the years, but I think as a pair,
yeah, never.
I find it really, really hard to
Mm,
think of a better right back pairing.
yeah,
And just to add a little bit of more context to that, I mean, obviously, with all due respect to me, you're entitled to your opinion, and definitely respect that. At the same time, right now, I just think the right back position is the least of our concerns.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
genuinely, that defense, I just wouldn't touch,
No,
like at all. I'm not even in favor of selling Kivior, unless Kivior's sale unlocks a potential attacking incoming. Like for me, it just doesn't make sense
yeah.
with like a week and a half left of the window.
I
Um,
get that. I do get what people are coming from with Kivior, but I think what a lot of people forget is Kivior wants more first team football, which
yeah, he
he's
does.
not going to get
Hmm.
at Arsenal.
Yeah.
We do know who the manager is, don't we?
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
doesn't rotate.
Hmm.
He's not going to rotate that
Hmm.
defence. He doesn't like doing it
Hmm.
unless it's a right back, left back. Then he loves substituting them and all sorts.
Yeah.
But when it comes to centre backs, nope, doesn't like to touch them at
The,
all.
the flip side of it is though, the flip side of it is that like obviously Kivior wants to play first team football, but
Yep.
then I mean it's on Kivior and his agent to put pressure on the buying clubs to cough up his valuation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like with all due respect, like I get you want to play, bro, but we also need defensive cover.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those kind of catch kind of 22s really.
It is, yeah. Tamina asking how I am. I'm all good. Thank you very much for saying keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. Trust me, the amount of things that get thrown at me is, yeah, kind of demoralising sometimes, I have to be honest. Agume, yes, United, possible. Look, at the end of the day, it's a £22 million signing. I would take him in a heartbeat if we had done everything else.
Hmm.
We haven't. So if they get him, great signing. Personally, no, no. I think people are going to have to understand. Ornstein, and I'm not the greatest fan of him, as you well know, but he did come out with some correct information the other day, which regarding our PSR in the Premier League, we can spend £200 million easily, not a problem. Won't even batter an eyelid. When it comes to UEFA, which we still fall under, and it's exactly the same rules, but wages are different. So basically, what the Premier League are trying to do, and they will probably do it, probably vote it in next year, is when they calculate PSR, it will also involve salaries. UEFA already do this, and I think it's why you see a lot of European clubs really do having to balance their sheets out really, really well, which is why they do a lot of buying, a lot of selling, unlike a lot of teams here. So we are very, very close to the going over that. So this is why we're just having to be careful. Now, we don't need 100% sale. We need someone that is like literally going to be going. We don't have any of that right now. No one is literally close to the exit door. That's the problem. If someone was close, like I'd say over 90%, like they're going to get gone in a couple of days. We're not close to anyone, unfortunately. We were, and then all of a sudden we're not. I will get into that in September because there's some players that personally need a bit of a look in the mirror, a bit of a slap sometimes. But it is what it is. But yeah, so we have to be very careful. We cannot break that rule because they will come for us. UEFA are well known for coming for the Premier League teams because they know we've got the money. So yeah, we have to be very, very careful. So Tim Lewis is not the person blocking it. It's the fact that we're trying to be very careful by not breaking the FFP rules in UEFA.
So in terms of, obviously, because I know we were having a discussion off air, and then obviously there's been a lot of conversation in the Discord over the last couple of days, and obviously in and around the frustration involving our reluctance to formalize and as they move, whatever terminology you want to use. And we were saying off air that ultimately we're hemorrhaging money. I gave you the example of we've got $500,000 weekly coming out, just from Jesus, Nelson, and Zinchenko. I mean, that's 500K already. So if you look at it collectively, we're looking probably about $750,000 for players that are not contributing. So in that sense, I understand that the club have probably said, okay, we need to sell these players, and obviously these players have not gone as expected. So in terms of it not being Tom Lewis, what you're saying is blocking the deal. It's more to do with the financial restraints and rules that we have to abide by.
We know how close we are. We know how close we are to it. And let's say...
But who makes that call, though?
Who makes it?
Like, who makes the call to say, look, this is where we are. No disrespect to them, because like I keep saying to fans, it's like we're completely biased because we're emotionally invested. But Arsenal have people who run the club. But who makes the call to say that, looks at the books and says, okay, right, we're edging too close to UEFA rules, to PSR rules, etc., etc. So right now, doesn't matter how advanced an Eze or Rodrigo deal is happening, we can't sign that off until we balance our books. Who makes that call? Or is it a collective call?
I'd say it's a collective, really, because a lot of people don't realise, this plan was already set up, like end of April, beginning of May, what we're going to do in the summer window. Now, things haven't gone according to plan this window. Some players we expected to leave very early. They did not leave at all. And then some players we were asked to purchase at a specific time to help them, to help us. There was another one that's already come in. He's come in earlier than we were anticipating, but in all fairness, he's not on a huge salary anyway, so it doesn't really hurt us too much.
Is that Madueke?
I'm not going to say names. That's not fair because I know what would happen with the fan base. Let's be honest. As soon as I name one of the players, they'll go, "Oh, it's all his fault." So I'm not going to name a name. So yeah, it's just not going to, because we all assumed that at least 2 or 3 players would be gone by the end of July, and none of them had gone. Now, as I said, some of the players need a bit of a slap and a bit of awakening personally, because they're not taking wage reductions.
I mean, I can't fault Jesus. Jesus is coming back from a long-term injury. So really and truly, I think like you can't really look at that scenario. The guy's still going through rehabilitation. But when I look at the likes of Zinchenko, and I'm not gonna say, I mean, I'm kind of reluctant to say it, but even Nelson, like, with Zinchenko, you're not going to play. Like, you're simply not going to play on the side. And Nelson, you're not going to play. So it's like, as much as like we're looking at, obviously, our club, which we should, we're looking at the decision makers, we're looking at past business, offering players like Nelson 100K. I mean, that probably doesn't help. There is a little bit of, there's no real interest, and the clubs that are interested can't pay Nelson the money. But it's also like there's also a certain reliance on the player having the ambition to want to leave and play first team football, but
Yeah.
also the agents of these players to push through these moves. You
Yeah.
know, now one question that has come up a lot in the Discord is why are we not more ruthless enough? Why don't we have a culture at the club where we just basically tell players, look, you're not going to play, you're not going to start, so you need to find yourself another club. Like, are those conversations had? Because from the outside as a fan, it feels like it's all a little bit hunky dory and a little bit kumbaya, you know, sitting down having some tea. Like, we're this big happy family, but
I'm,
ultimately
I'm,
we've got players that we need to sell that are just not leaving.
I'm scared to answer this question because I
Okay.
can see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Arteta doesn't like that environment at all, where
This is what I
someone
said to people. It's not
feels,
the culture of the club.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Arteta
Yeah.
loves this kind of all one big happy family. Hence why we got a dog. Hence why we got a blooming olive tree and all this bloody weird shit around the place.
And there are benefits to that.
There is,
There are
but
benefits, and I think
but
we've seen
unfortunately,
that in terms
yeah,
of the cohesion amongst the squad. But in these
yeah,
scenarios,
yeah.
doesn't work.
Zinni is going to be happy to be a cheerleader for the next
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
And that is affecting us in terms of transfers right now. Because if he'd already gone, I can guarantee you someone would not be going to Tottenham.
Oh my.
What's happened?
Gunner Blog has just posted that Trossard has signed a new contract.
Oh, but that's not for extension though, is it?
Extended till 2027. Wasn't that when it?
Yeah. So it's all that is a wage increase, which is what I explained to you before. So he's getting a wage increase because he wasn't getting This is where I don't want to keep doing this, and I feel bad, but at the end of the day, I have to be honest. Arteta is a issue because Arteta is the person that feels that he's not on enough
salary increase. Yeah, it says that
he was the one that was adamant that he wanted Jesus and Zinchenko at the club, so pay whatever was necessary. And now,
I mean, that surely shut the door to a winger.
No, not really. Because people sign contracts, I've said this quite a few times throughout this window. Just because people sign new contracts doesn't mean they necessarily stay. It's just one of those things. Martinelli is possible to leave. You never know. Whether or not we get that money for him is another question. But no, I wouldn't. I want to go for the comments, but I want to answer the question at the same time. So I think I'm going to watch out for Lookman. Lookman, I've mentioned a few times, and obviously that for me, Inter's now shut the door. But Inter are interested in Trossard, and they still will be. He's in amber. The new contract means nothing to me. He's just getting the salary that he deserves, and you can swing and roundabouts with him because I think he was on. I think it was like 90. I think he's going to be on like probably 110, 100, 120, something like that. I would have assumed. I don't know the exact price that he's getting, but so he's getting more that's in line with his role that he has within the squad.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you look at Martinelli's 190, right? Trossard 90. Doesn't make sense, does it? And this is what Arteta wants the squad to feel like they've all got the self-importance. And if money comes into it, you start having that little bit of question mark in your head going, hang on, this guy who I'm competing with week in, week out is paid this amount. I'm performing better than that guy. Why am I not on that wage or close to that wage? So I'm not too concerned. I don't think it's ruled out the left winger, but like I said, Lookman is a possibility. Rodrigo, don't rule out still. But I've always said that will be the last week of August anyway, and we're not in the last week yet. I'm not too worried. if I'm honest. Samuel Lokonga, yeah, absolutely fine. We now having a competition about who gets in first. We've made it now. Now we're getting to that point. That's always a good thing. Good evening, Tom. Is the Eze deal dead? It's not dead. If so, yes, it's disappointing, but the season hasn't started now. Let's get behind the land, especially the new striker signings. I do expect possibly a here we go tonight for Eze, but you never know. The longer this takes for the here we go, the more positive it is for us. There has been conversations, so it's. I'd say the ball is in Eze's court. So if Eze chooses to say yes, then he's made the decision to go to Tottenham. So there you go. How confident are we that we sign more players? Feeling like things aren't moving at all on outgoings. Big up to Bobby and everyone in the chat. Big up to Giovanni. This is why I've put on the thumbnails pivotal 7 days. 7 days, in my opinion, we need to get very, very close to people buggering off, which is why I've literally put everything about the exits are here, here, and here. Now, please leave. Just because I am adamant that these guys need to go. If we're in a good position in 7 days' time, so let's say next Tuesday, because that gives us 7 days to get business done, then we'll crack on with it. The final last week, in my opinion, will be chaos for everybody because there's a lot of teams that want to do a lot of business. So big up to Jatin. Good evening, Bobby, and everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's percentage time. On a Friday, it was Rodrigo 60, Real 30, Gordon 5, Lookman 5. I would say move Rodrigo down to 50, Leao down to 20, put Lookman up to 20, put Gordon up to 10. Actually, no. Put Gordon back to 5 and question mark on a 5. Question mark is another player that's possible. We'll keep an eye on that one at the moment before I say his name. I know the window isn't over, but any early shouts for Janet and next summer? Next summer is going to be huge. I do expect a big exit at this rate. January, it depends what we don't get done now, if I'm honest. If the window ends as it is right now, we are going to be probably putting free subscription to Ancestry on these players just to get them out the door. Find some way of just selling these, free car with an Arsenal player. I don't know, some craziness. A year's supply of fuel. Just some way of getting them out the door. Because
I know, Bobby, you're always the voice of reason. But genuinely, I'm sitting here and I can't rationalize a contract extension for Trossard. I just can't.
I knew it was coming, and that hasn't stopped Inter Milan still talking to him.
Surely him going on higher wages makes it more difficult to shift him.
All right. I will give you another example of another player that's in the Premier League that has signed a new big deal at the beginning of, was it around July? Yeah, around July time. He is also speaking to a Premier League team that could be transferred to in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So basically, it's not great news, and this is which sometimes. So the problem is, I don't know who chooses the timings of these things because it's not the best time. I would have left this till September personally, if you were still here. Obviously, I wouldn't have mentioned it because it'd be interesting when Arsenal announce it. If Arsenal even mention it, I don't know, because there's a good chance he still could go. Because Inter Milan, obviously, they've not managed to get Lookman. They're looking at Trossard because they need that kind of forward type player. Villa. I remember that, I'm full well not the greatest fan of journalists anyway. But the amount of Premier League teams that want Trossard, Brentford, Bournemouth, Villa, they're still hanging around.
Yeah.
So why are they still hanging around? Because don't forget, the contract has not extended. It's just a bigger contract. That is it. It's not like if he'd signed a 4-year deal, then yeah, that shuts it down. He's just getting more wages.
What I will say is though, big up the admins in the Discord, because you lot are gonna have to you lot are gonna have to put out this fire. Sorry, I'll help you in about an hour's time.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah. Okay.
You got to imagine, innit? Like everybody's wanting Eze, everybody's wanting Rodrigo, and the news that's broken is Trossard salary increase.
Yeah, well, this is the bit that everyone's got to listen to. It's not an extension of the contract.
Yeah,
that's important. If it was an extension of the contract, then yes, that rules it out. But it's just a wage increase. There's nothing more to worry about that. The person that signed a contract that I was just talking about in the Premier League, he's signed an extension, but he still may leave. It's honestly, new contracts nowadays don't mean much. Anyway, Eze in amber, yes, no, he's still in amber, he's not red. Any other cam? Rodgers is someone that I was always told to keep an eye on, but I'll be honest, I don't see it happening at the moment. I think with Jacob Ramsey going, that has helped Villa a lot with PSR because he's a PSR player. So even though the deal wasn't huge, it was worth a lot more in PSR value. So they wouldn't need to sell Rodgers now. Watkins I can see going because Jackson it still makes me laugh. Jackson might still be going to Villa. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm not a Villa fan, so I don't care. Big up to Gary. Where's our left winger and Cam? I'm not kidding. Mate, let's see, because I know I've got a show Friday, but like I said, it's going to be more of a preview on Friday anyway. I'll just update if there's any transfer news, which I don't expect it, to be honest. Next Tuesday is the one I expect to have some really good positive news, or the opposite, where much just enjoy the rest of the week, pack your bags and just go on holiday for a week because we ain't doing nothing. That's when I'll know. Next Tuesday is when I'll know. AFC 77 new subscriber here. Glad I found your channel via your X accounts. Thank you for your content and your time. Go to here. We didn't push for Eze. I just hope we have something up our sleeves. Big up to you. Yeah, well, like I said, it was more to do with players just hadn't left. So everyone that loves, I'm sure Temmie's in here. Temmie loves Zinni. He might just love him just to wind me up. I'm not sure. But if Zinni had left, we could have done that. Easy. Job done. But it is what it is. Big up to Tubacker. Tubacker, you've not been a wire for a while. No, he changed to amber midnight on Friday. That's when he changed. So he's gone into amber with us. If we don't get Eze, do we pivot to Simmons, Rodgers, and Alcanus? Simmons is going to be an interesting one. I do expect him to go to Chelsea. But as if you just listen to my words, I do expect him to go to Chelsea. Not a guaranteed. Now, Leipzig are obviously quite comfortable with the situation because they're trying to get Nkunku. So I'm going to guess it's going to look like a player swap, but not be a player swap for Simmons and Nkunku. Alcanus is Crystal Palace bound. Left wingers in green. Nope. There was once upon a time. I think we're going to regret that now, but never mind. Are any of the 5 exits in green? No, there's a lot in amber though. There's a lot. Could we sign 2 left wingers instead of a AM and left winger? No, not at this short notice.
I thought Trossard's original contract was 2026. It ran till, but it wasn't.
No, he's got. Yeah, he had 2 years to do it.
He still had 2 years on his deal. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Zinni that, as far as I know, it's Zinni that runs out next year, isn't it?
Okay.
Is that right?
I just thought. Yeah, I thought Trossard's one was 2026.
No, 2027.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, it's literally.
I'm just processing. I'm trying to help myself process.
Yeah, no, it's because I'm pretty sure he's only on 90,000, which is less than all the first teamers, all of them. So, and considering how much Trossard is actually significant to our team, which he is, you can say if you like him or not, that's fine, but he is a big part of our team. So he should be on those type of wages anyway.
I think a lot of people saw at the weekend he didn't get any minutes and probably thought he was maybe closer to an exit than we expected.
Like I said, I'm not going to rule it out yet. I still don't rule it out. Like I said, by next Tuesday, when I do the show next Tuesday, I will know a lot more because it's going to be the final week. Pretty much everything would have to be kind of in place for the final 7 days, like at least some communication. Deadline day is manic. It wouldn't shock me if we get a deadline day sale, but we would have done a lot of legwork beforehand. We're not going to do a panic buy. Now that's where other clubs will do panic buys. Now they will literally from nowhere sign someone. Like they will literally go on the system as green off the system, literally in a few hours. But we won't be in that position. I know a lot of people saying Garnacho and stuff like that, which is very funny. We will have a plan, I'm sure, and hopefully by next Tuesday we'll know it a bit better. Big up to John. Sad about Eze. Tell me it's going to be okay. It will be okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm disappointed. Don't forget, I am an Arsenal fan as well, people. I think people just think I just give out the news and that's it. I am an Arsenal fan.
There definitely is that assumption. Trust me.
Yeah, trust me. I am an Arsenal fan.
Recently. It's like because you know people like yourself give information. I've seen it with actual in the nose on the timeline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just in general, it's like I think a lot of the time people just kind of forget the fact that you are actually an Arsenal fan. And I'm an Arsenal fan, and when something like Eze takes the turn it did, first and foremost, we were actually annoyed because we're good. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
You've put it nicely. I was pissed off,
mate. Listen, you asked. Listen, I know you're not in the Discord, but when all the news of Spurs and Eze started unraveling, like back in the last week over the weekend, I actually was in the crash out chat. Because for the first time this entire window, I was mad. I was mad as hell. And I was in the crash out chat going absolutely nuts. And people were like, oh my God, if G's losing it, this is bad.
Yeah, if you're losing it, you're the most chilled out people.
It didn't last too long. I just needed a vent. I just needed half hour, an hour to just get it off my chest, and I felt a lot better for it. It was quite therapeutic, actually.
That's good. Big up to Melanie. Big up to Temi. Oh, I can see what's happening here. Link to Rodrigo and Leao end up with Madueke on the left. Not what we want, because don't forget, Madueke is someone that we want to use within the squad, not the left winger. Because if you think about it, we lost Sterling. Madueke is Sterling's replacement. That's it. We still haven't got that left winger that we want. That's how you got to look at it, Tim. So yeah, Madueke is Sterling, which is definitely a big improvement on Sterling if you want to compare stuff. No offense to Sterling, but he's definitely gone. Linked to Eze and Simmons, not with Trossard and Martin Smelly. Obviously, different positions there. Look, if we don't get Eze, and I still put the word "if" in it, I'm not going to. I'm going to be annoyed because I wanted Eze, but I'm not going to be too disheartened due to the fact I know that we've got enough within our squad, and I'm not going to comment regarding Nwaneri and Dowman. I'm all about Havertz. We can play Havertz there if we need to, because Havertz can play a cam as well. So I'm not going to be too upset. I'm just upset that Eze is not coming because I wanted Eze. Even Saka wanted Eze. If you know, you know. Arsenal. Oh dear! Big up to Joel. Our club's playing the waiting game, hoping we. Yes, they are.
100%. 100%. They know. Look, they know. You know what I mean. I've learned enough from you, Bobby, to know that and even working in industries where I've had to like broker deals and stuff. They know that the price next week is going to be a different price to this week.
Yep, 100%.
Like the closer we get to the deadline, that price is going to come down. And at the end of the day, clubs are out for themselves. They're working at a budget, and they're trying to get the best deal possible for their club. So ultimately, they know the longer they leave it, the more desperate Arsenal become, and the lower that fee is.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, basically, G's answered the question for you. So thank you very much, G.
No worries.
Oh no! Well, as I said, Tim, and I did have to explain this. Without that left winger that we want, the whole thing, the whole simulation, everything that we plan for, kind of goes out the window because Martinelli and Trossard are not that player. Hence why left winger is a priority, because it literally sorts our system out, because you've got that free multiple threats that you've got with the right winger, the left winger, well, as much as say Saka, Gyökeres, and whoever the left winger may be. Martinelli and Trossard are not that. Yeah. See, actually, just thinking about it, I know I'm going on a different route here, but even if Trossard wasn't to leave, it doesn't rule out a left winger. I've just thought about it, because Trossard could play as the cam as well. I think a lot of people forget Trossard is a multifunctional.
He's a versatile player.
Yeah,
definitely a versatile player. I think what
well.
a lot of fans will be looking at is they'll be looking at, when you look at our front six, let's say. So let's just say on paper we've got Saka and Madueke on the right. We've got Havertz and Gyökeres down the middle. Obviously, Jesus is not in the picture yet because of rehabilitation. And then you've got Trossard and you've got Martinelli. So if we're looking at bodies-wise, we've already got a bloated squad. We're already hemorrhaging cash.
Yeah,
I think, and this is what I'm struggling with, and I'm really trying to obviously, like, kind of hear what you're saying as well. But it's like, I think they see it as well. Trossard is now obviously potentially less likely to leave, which you've obviously said that's not necessarily the case. And it is true. I mean, you look at Cunha, signed a new deal. You look at Semenyo, signed a new deal. Cunha left. Semenyo is still potentially could leave. Like, I get that the contract extension doesn't necessarily mean he will stay, particularly given the years. I mean, the fact that he hasn't extended the length is actually key.
Well, exactly, because you've just said contract extension, but
it's
not. It's
but
actually
it's not
a wage
actually
increase.
Extension. At the same time, I think what we've been kind of told is that, well, we need players out, and in particular we need left-sided players out to strengthen the left side. So I can see why Arsenal fans are gonna lose their mind with regards to this one. Because let's think about it, like if you're Brentford or you're Palace or you're a Saudi club or whoever you are, and you're looking at Trossard, now all of a sudden you haven't got to pay him 90 grand a week. You got to maybe pay him potentially 140. I don't know what his increase was, but I think most people will be looking at this thinking, well, surely this makes it a little bit more difficult then, because now he's on even higher wages than he was in the first place.
Not necessarily. Again, sorry. If it's Villa, I will probably rule out Brentford out of this now.
100%.
If it's Villa, they pay those kind of wages, 150. Inter, they pay quite high wages as well over there. Because they've got different tax system as well, which means technically they pay less, but the player gets more. Different tax bands and all that kind of weird stuff. So that's why I don't rule it out. I'm not saying fans don't have a meltdown. That's up to you. I'm not going to tell you not to have a meltdown, but it's not a contract extension. It's a wage increase. I can guarantee you, if you were still thinking of leaving, but your bosses said, "Oh, we're going to give you an extra £3," you're not going to turn it down an hour. You'll say, "Okay, I'll take that," but then 2 days later, see you later, everyone.
If an opportunity comes up, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not a contract extension, so that's the bit that you should all be listening to. I'm never too worried about it. He's not in line with what he should be paid personally. I've always thought that, because he's 90,000. He plays a huge part in our squad. It's not like he's I don't want to be harsh to him, but he's not a Kivior, where Kivior only comes in.
He's not. He's not. He's not a Zinni, he's not a Nelson, he's not a Vieira. I mean, really and truly, I think sometimes, because as fans we are so emotionally invested, and I'm guilty of this as well. I mean, I was massively behind the Trossard buy when we pivoted from him from Mudryk to him.
Yeah.
And if you actually remember, he made a blistering start to his career. I think
Yes.
I think he fell off last season. I think a lot of our attackers fell off last season. I don't think it was a unique thing for Trossard. I just think collectively, I don't think we were great as an offensive force.
Mm.
But in terms of what we paid for him and what we paid for him weekly, he's actually been a really, really shrewd bit of business.
Oh yeah.
I think the frustration with Trossard is because we're looking at a greater goal.
Yeah.
So I think what we want is we want the Marquis Rodrigo, we want the Leao signing, and what we see in Trossard is a potential obstacle to that signing. So I think
Yeah.
that's where the whole discord of getting him out, get him out, get him out, sell him, move him on, move him on. Because I've done it. I've done
Mm.
it. I've said it in recent times because I am so desperate for that marquee left winger. But if you look at the bigger picture and the full perspective, he's actually been a really good bit of business.
Okay. I'm going to get you to ask me a question.
Yeah.
Who would Arsenal? So you're going to ask me who would Arsenal rather sell out of Martinelli and Trossard?
Yeah. Who would Arsenal rather sell out of Martinelli and Trossard?
Martinelli in a heartbeat because of the wages.
Yeah.
Not
How
Trossard.
much is he on? 100? Is it
180, 190,000. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, man.
Yeah.
I got
So
a pain in my
obviously,
chest when I heard that, man. Jesus.
that is a
Oh,
ridiculous amount of money
days.
for a player that is not performing. And ever since he got that new deal, that is when it has gone downhill.
And the thing is, we like the only way we're selling Martinelli is Saudi. I don't think there is a team in world football outside of Saudi Arabia that will pay him that money. Like, who is going to pay that money?
I don't know. I don't know.
Genuinely, because and the thing is, I feel so bad saying it, but he's been so awful recently.
Yep.
You know, and I just pray and hope that like he can kind of find back that form. But honestly, 180 to 190,000 a week. Gee, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a
I'll
problem.
say,
And then when you put in isn't the evaluation around 75?
well, we would
60,
accept
70?
65. 65 we would accept.
I mean, what is, and I'm dreadful with maths, but what is 180 a week over the course of a year? I mean, somebody put it in the chat. I have no idea. If my son was here, he'd be able to do it because he's training to be an accountant at uni. But when you think about the 60 mil, and then you think about his, I mean, do you know what his yearly wages at Arsenal in terms of mils?
Just over 9 million.
So you're talking 60. Let's just say we sell him for 60,
Yeah.
and let's just round it up to 10.
Yeah.
And then he signs a 4-year deal. That's £100 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
Who is signing Martinelli for 100 mil?
I know. It's mad, isn't it?
Oh, Bobs. Oh, man. Bobs.
But we'll get into, because I know a lot of people are going to blame this on their do and stuff like that. But don't forget who the manager is. Okay?
Yeah,
he's the one that says, he's the one that wanted to keep Nelson and Nketiah, don't forget. And the only way we could do that was put him on £100,000.
Man.
And
I get heart palpitations on this show, you know.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. But yeah, so it is what it is. Anyway,
let's move on.
Did I answer that question? Oh no, sorry, Den. I didn't even say hello to you. Evening, Bobby and Gooners. Hope everyone is, if not chill. Big up to Den. Sorry, mate. As we get sidetracked, to apologise. Two back. I personally would start Nelson over Trossard and Nelly if it came to it. I get where you're coming from. But I need Nelson gone. I'm sorry. There's certain players I really just need gone. Commander, please don't. Look, next Tuesday, I know I'm probably going to talk about transfers on Friday, but I'll be honest, don't bother tuning in too much for it because I don't expect much. Next Tuesday is when I'll know more. And obviously Friday is going to be the Leeds preview anyway. We'll be joined by Brenny, by the way. Big up to Brenny just to join me off of that. Has news on who is most likely left-wing target. Rodrigo is our number one target, has been since day gecko. But what you have to do as a big club is have contingency plans. We've got plenty of those. There has been a new one that we have spoken to their team. I think we spoke to them yesterday to kind of roughly work out how much they want and kind of what structure and all that kind of stuff. So there's another one on the horizon, but Rodrigo is number one, and I do expect this to go into last week, like I've always said, which is why by next Tuesday we need some positive news. Big up to Ali. Boys, ease the meltdown for the ages. I don't think I've helped, Neil, if I'm honest. Lost today. Let's have it then, Bobby. Sorry, Anthony. I don't think I've helped. GS.
Oh, mate, Tyler, honestly, bro.
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
Well, Tyler's from the Discord, isn't it? Like,
is that Tyler? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That Tyler. We had to make him his own chat on the Discord so we could. So we called it the crash out chat so we could have his space to crash out. And then in the end, I think it was Angie, one of the admins, just actually called it the Tyler chat. So yeah, big up Tyler. But to be honest, I think as soon as I finish this stream, I think I'm gonna see you in there, Tyler.
Big up to Scott A. Big up to Emily. So big up to Gigs. Hope you are all healthy. Same with you. Big up to John. I'm just going to go through some stuff now. We are in hell. There's no good morning and evening. Well, I'm always polite. That's what I'll always say. The only time I'm not polite is when I've just finished a watch long and Arsenal have peed me off. Then you'll see a different greeting. That's for certain. So is the Eze dream? No, it's not completely over. Any breakthrough outgoings? There's a lot more conversations, but like I said, come back to me next Tuesday when hopefully by then. Obviously, I'll still chat about anything that's happened between now and on Friday, but I don't expect anything major by then. But we'll have a look. Disagreed to have a good stream, fan. Had some. Oh, enjoy, mate. I hope you have a good game. Have we opened formal talks with Real Madrid for Rodrigo? We've had a lot of informal talks. When it gets to formal, I'll be honest, that's when it's a quick process. And I think a lot of people forget that there's a lot of informal talks. Informal talks can last for weeks, months. In some cases, I know certain transfers, years. So I'm not too concerned that there's, because journos have said, oh, there's been no chats. That's because they don't know about them. Funny enough. This is what I find really funny, is the journos think that they are like, what's that thing that they used to do in the good old days? You had to ring someone to then get connected. What was that called?
Oh gosh.
Do you know what I
mean? What do you mean? Like wiring up the internet?
No, God, no. Back in like the 40s and 50s, where you used to ring up operator. They obviously think that they're like an operator, and they listen to all these different conversations. They are not aware of every single conversation between intermediaries.
Yeah, no. They get fed. They get fed a lot of the info, innit?
Yeah, and they get fed of it.
And that info is then selected also. So
yeah, and they sit on a lot of information. People, just so you know, they sit on some stuff for a long time. Someone could have calmed you down on a lot of transfers, and they've chosen.
You know what I think the frustration is, like, for Arsenal fans, and I do get it, and it's because and I think it's a combination of a couple of things. So yeah. Well, not a combination of a couple of things. I think one of the biggest thing is that Arsenal as a football club, we've reduced, if not limited, if not killed all the leaks within the club in terms of transfer news. So what comes out in the media is basically what Arsenal want to come out in the media. But I think the problem is that the lack of media coverage is assumed to be inactivity for the club. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Chelsea fans will look at the Garnacho stuff with Fabrizio and they'll think, oh, look, we're trying. You can see that, we're trying to buy Garnacho, even though every single Fab post is saying the same bloody thing with regards to Garnacho in a very different way. It's not actually reporting progression of the deal.
Yeah.
But I think where Arsenal fans don't see the leaks or the little, drips of information from the journals, I can understand it because I've been there. It just looks like, I mean, what's going on? Why are we not doing nothing? Well, why are we not having these conversations? Why are we not moving for these players? I'm just fortunate to, like, obviously know yourself and know other people in the industry to know that actually, because somebody actually said it to me, big up Dubs. Dubs is a guy that I've known for many years on X. He's in the Discord, but he's also in an Arsenal X group. And he said to me, but what you have to understand, G, is that not all fans have the context you have. in terms of like having people that you know that can give you certain information. So while you appear calm, the rest of the people are just going by what they're being shown or seen or what they're not. And because they're not seeing it, they're just thinking, well, what are we doing? Which makes a lot of sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So that covers two back. We have the best 4 fullbacks in the league.
Yeah. I mean, I
Right
have
backs,
to think
yes.
about it. I'd have to think about it. But put it this way, the four fullbacks we have, I'm not looking for a fullback right now.
No.
Like, in terms
as
of our
you know,
squad,
I want one. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of our squad right now, mate, I need a left winger. And you know what? I would arguably like forget the cam. If I had to get, if somebody said to me right now between today and the 1st of September, one signing, G, what should it be? It'd be a wide forward. It'd be a left winger, an out and out left winger, or an out and out left winger. It'd either be an out and out left winger or it'd be a left winger that can play cam, which is why for me Eze is just a no brainer. But it is what it is.
Yeah, true.
I saw him cook Chelsea on the weekend on that left wing.
Yeah, he doesn't like to rotate any other player. No, he does. No, he loves to make substitutions with the fullbacks every single pissing game.
Yeah, I saw that against United.
Well, I kind of got it a little bit at the weekend because Ben White obviously just went down. Calafiori, so I kind of understood it.
Yeah.
But if you watch over the whole of last season, he did it all the time just for fun.
Yeah, he does.
A lot of time. Bestest defensive unit in the Prem by distance. Last 3 years with goals conceded and clean sheets back that up. Yep, totally agree. Like I said, it's still in amber. What about Lookman? You've put Lookman, but Lookman, possible. Just watch out because I don't see it happening with Inter now. And I know that there's a lot of Premier League clubs. We are one of them that are interested in Lookman because Lookman wants out. So, yeah. I think I've covered that as much as I possibly can, Gamer. Get Jesus off the wage bill. Easier said than done. There are a lot of people have been talking about it. And like I said, the only time is now, really, because he's not fully fit till the end of September. I just don't see it. Would you, if you owned a club, G, would you want to take the risk on someone that's going to be paid £270,000 a week on someone that's not fit?
No, not at all. And I was saying this to somebody. I was having multiple. I have so many conversations. But I was saying this. I'm like, realistically, I'm not paying Jesus 250k. I'm not paying Zinni 150. And I'll be honest, I'm not even paying Nelson 100k.
No,
like I'm just not. I mean, Nelson, for me personally, I'll be looking in the bracket of about 50 to 70 max. And then, Zinni. I mean, Jesus right now, after the injuries had, I'll be looking at pay as you play type contract because the reality, the reality is like where he hasn't played no football. That's a huge risk.
Yeah, well, don't forget when these players were offered these deals, it's the amount that they got was the importance that they were to the squad. So at the time, Zinni was a first team player, which is why he got the 150,000. Jesus was meant to be our number 9. Didn't obviously pan out. Nelson and Nketiah at the time were squad players, so obviously they got squad money, which is £100,000. That's squad. Hence why Trossard needed that boost because he was less than 100,000. If you think about it, Nelson was getting paid more than Trossard. Okay, that's the bit you should for people that are freaking out about Trossard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nelson was getting paid more than Trossard, and Nelson doesn't even play. Hope Palace offer as a if Palace could afford that, they would not be in the position they are in the league. As was an unprecedented summer, they said more. Big up to Chris. Get Jesus off the book, then he's on too much wages. Well, that's going to cost us a lot of money to get someone that's like an Aubameyang type situation, which none of us want to do again. It costs a lot of money. Don't forget. Including our commitment to Neto and Sterling wages, plus Tommy, Partey, KT, and Jorginho versus new incoming wages. What is the balance? So Tommy was on what was Tommy on? He was about 50,000, wasn't he? Partey was on 200. Katie was on 120. Jorginho was on 110. I think we're around even, or we're just a little bit above. I'm trying to think now. It's a bit hard to, without getting a pad and pen with me. I think we're just above. Yeah, trying to work it out from my head. I think this is Dom, isn't it? DCAFC.
I think, yeah, that's Dom.
Yeah. Raised salary, nearly leaving because I know Mikel and Berto are open to it. Yes, very open to it. There is a reason why I put very open to it, because, yeah, we all know what we've got now. I'm not too worried. Don't worry, people. What do you guys think of the transfers that we brought in terms of importance? Surely Eze Rodrigo of high importance and the Madueke. Just things just haven't gone the way that we would like it to have gone. That's all. No one's come in at different stages of like importance. Like Mosquera wasn't more important. Norgard wasn't more important. It's just how things develop. Sometimes deals are just a lot easier to do than others. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. If money is this tight, does this mean that a left wing is no? We just need to get these players out the door. It's not for the transfer fee. It's for the wages. And the reason that we're trying to stick with the transfer fee is because we want to look like we're a good selling club for future. Because you never know, next summer someone might say, okay, we want to buy such and such player. They'll offer us a crazy amount of money, which we might be just going, you know what, see you later. I'll be very careful. Let's just cover. No, actually, I'm not going to do that because I'll just put more fans into more meltdown if I mention anyone. Could we not offer Vieira, Trossard, Eze to balance their books? Is that a possibility? No, because Trossard, even on 90,000, was still quite high for Crystal Palace in terms of wages. Vieira, I think me and G have said it. It just doesn't suit British football. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. Fabio will go abroad. I don't see anyone crazy enough to want him in the Premier League. He's just not. He's not big enough. He's too much of a lightweight. Definitely back in Noni, but defensively it concerns me loads. Totally agree. Big up to Dylan. You need to be Rufus. Big up to AJF, 99.99% no. Well, there's always a reason why I don't say it's 100%. This club are finished in the window. No, they're not. Hey, Bobby, hope all is well. Help me to understand. Did we give up as a... No, we didn't. Maybe will not leave. No, it doesn't. It's different if he'd actually extended the amount of time he was here. Then yeah, fair dues. But he's literally just had a salary increase. That makes no difference. What's happening? Increased wages makes him harder to move. No, because if someone's going to offer him £150,000, which Villa can do, it makes no difference what he's getting on Arsenal anyway. How do you follow a person with such a happy-go-lucky mentality? It's just PR from the club. No, it's not. If you, literally, I think you can. Pretty sure you can find out on the UEFA somewhere. It's different rules apply to the Premier League than they do in UEFA. So anyone this is why Man United. I've said this to G before. This is why Man United are doing what they're doing, because they're not in Europe this season, which means they can do whatever they want. They only have to stick with the Premier League rules, not the UEFA ones. Big up to Brenny. Definitely hope so within the next 2 weeks. But mind you, me and G have kind of ruled out pretty much everybody apart from Saudi Arabian league. So.
If it's not a Saudi team, I don't see it.
No, it's quite crazy because Bayern Munich are still looking for a forward, but I just don't see Martinelli at Bayern Munich personally. Do you? It's not good enough, is he?
No, I mean, I feel like, people might call me delusional. I mean, that's the Trump word. I mean, delusional or negative or reactionary are the three key words that we label all each other, to be honest, anytime we just don't agree, which I said to somebody the other day, I just don't use those words. I don't use the word negative, I don't use the word delusional, I don't use the word reactionary. I just try and
Yeah.
avoid those three words because they've just become almost like a default for how we describe each other. um I mean, but some might say I'm delusional. I still feel like there is a player. I just feel like for us, we've probably grown out of Martinelli.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I still feel like Martinelli could go somewhere, he could regain his confidence and his form and actually go on to have a pretty good career. I just don't think that's going to be at Arsenal. And if I'm completely honest, I don't think that's going to be in a top flight European side.
No.
I think it's going to be somewhere else. And maybe he just needs a bit of a change in terms of, a league. Um,
Mm.
because yeah, at one point in time, I mean, spacing behind the opposition, he was absolutely lethal.
Yeah.
And like I said, arguably one of our, if not our best player that one season. He's arguably better and putting on the board better numbers than Saka at the time. But
Mm.
something's happened and it's just gone pear shaped. So I just don't see him having a long term future at Arsenal. But given his given our valuation of him and the wages he's being paid, I mean, yeah, I can't see him being sold this window at all. And I think we will struggle to get rid of him long term.
True. Someone said, if you want to be a true leader, you shouldn't be a people please. You said, learn to say no. Agree. If Trossard's increase is due to his qualities compared to Martinelli, how is Superman on such a low wage? Well, he's on over 100,000 to be. So I think what you might have fallen for now, obviously, Capology is a good site, but what they do is take a while to transfer the new wage into the new club. So yeah, Zubi was on a low wage at Sociedad. I think it's around 50,000, 60,000, something like that. It wasn't a lot. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on 120 at Arsenal now. So it's not a huge amount, but it's still a substantial amount. Because of us. That's another way of putting it, to be honest. If Eze was at Chelsea and shit, we would have. Well, in all fairness, I'm hoping Hato's like that in about a year's time, so I can go and get Hato. Can keep people leaving the next 2 to 3 days to Porto. I don't rule it out. No, is not the question marks. Don't worry about that. Big up to Silver One. My stance on Eze, I don't really care if he joins Spurs. He was never Arsenal. Sod him. Won't Eze wait till the last day of the transfer window? No, because aren't Crystal Palace playing in Europe on Thursday? Is that right?
I'm not sure. I know they've got some qualifying games, qualification games, but I can't remember off the top of my head who or when it is.
I'm sure he won't wait too long now before.
I mean, he wants his future sorted, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? We're already a week into the league. Come the end of this weekend, that's game week 2. He's got stuff to do, like move house,
exactly.
or maybe not move house, but you get the point. Like he's got stuff to do. He wants to get, his eggs in a row. So he's gonna want he probably wanted his future sorted out even before now.
Yeah. Victor is saying about Semenyo, just keep an eye on. He's a possibility. He might still move in the last 2 weeks. When Saliba signs his contract officially, no, Arsenal don't do release clauses. We'll be mad to do that. Big up to Shaz saying it's Semenyo an option we are looking at. We've looked at Semenyo many times. Good evening, Bobby and G. Bobby, that other possibility is Semenyo, isn't it? I love that. Believe he was a previous locked in. Big up to Daniel. He will not leave it. No, it's definitely not obvious. Can we still be free of Led Lassard? Very good, Tim. So Arsenal can't sell players because their salaries are too high. So the plan is to raise the salaries of a player you want to sell to teams. No, it's something that when were we talking about this, G? About Trossard quite a few weeks ago, weren't we?
Yeah, quite
About
a
the
while
fact
ago.
that he would be getting a increase, but it won't be an extension to his contract.
This was like at the start of the window. I remember
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
it's got nothing to do with the fact that, you know, whether or not we will keep him or sell him. It's literally he should be on a wage that is significant to what he does for the team, and he is an important part of our team, and he's less than everybody else, which isn't fair. So his value is still going to be 20 million quid. So you give us 20 million quid. See you later. Cole Hines, Germany. Possible, but there's some Turkish teams as well that are coming in for him. I think it was Ricepor, the last one I heard. Guessing Semenyo is the one who signed a new contract and may still leave. Big up to Luke. My Northampton Town Fair kit colours black, pink. That's an interesting one. It's made me think of a licorice all sorts, to be fair. Black and pink, I might have to look it up. Bobby, is it 100% confirmed Gyökeres is our new penalty taker? I don't know why this is. Why is this even in the is this a thing on X at the moment? Cheeks. Why is this being?
Yeah, I think
about?
it was confirmed. I think I can't remember who reported it. I mean, I was told. I think about a week or so ago. To say that there was a conversation behind the scenes, and Saka was basically being asked the question of relinquishing the penalties, the prime penalty taker to Gyökeres. And I just remember thinking, look, if there is a player in the Arsenal squad that would relinquish penalty taking duties, it will be Saka, because he's selfless, isn't he? You know, he will hand that over. But yeah, I can't remember. I was told a couple of weeks ago, but I think it broke today. Some account broke it, and then all the other accounts kind of aggregated the news and spread the news. But yeah, apparently Gyökeres is going to be the prime penalty taker.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I was expecting that anyway, because it's due to the fact he's a striker. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, didn't know that was actually big news. To be fair, this transfer window has been underwhelming. Well, it hasn't finished yet. Zinni's. Oh, jeez. Oh, Tammy. I think the Eze dream may be dead. It's getting very, very, very close. Yeah. I am planning on £1 million protest to stop the sadness. God. Xavi Schumann's to Chelsea is done and concrete. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well, personally. How are we always? I'm devastated if we don't get difference makers. Forget winning the league. Well, because the window's not done yet. Still got 2 weeks left. So we'll be signing. I'm still confident we'll get at least one. At least. Hope you're well. Is it now 100% sure that Rodrigo will leave Madrid? Can see him be just like Zinni and be happy to sit a bench at Madrid? Well, considering it's a World Cup year, it make no sense, personally. I think a lot of people are forgetting this. It's a World Cup year. Now, I'm pretty sure he's got players that will be competing against him in the Brazilian national team. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know the Brazilian national team that well. But I'm sure he's got people that are up against him. Is that right, G?
Yeah, I mean, well, at the moment, I mean, his desire is to play, obviously, ideally, is to play left wing, but you got Vinny there, so Vinny's a starter at Madrid, so that's not going to happen. And I mean, right now, the only other backup really that I know of, because I don't watch Brazil a lot, is obviously Martinelli, and he's not pushing for a place. Yeah, so I mean, all play.
So I've just thought if we get Rodrigo, that means it's both the Brazilian left wingers are at our club.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, any top player wants to play. And particularly in World Cup year wants to play. I think that's one of the reasons why Gay's transfer to Liverpool hasn't necessarily gone through maybe as quickly as Liverpool fans would have liked, because ultimately Gay has to ask himself the question, okay, great, I get a dream move to Liverpool, but you're not starting, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
reality is, Gahey is not going to go in to Liverpool and walk into that side. Van Dijk may have started the season a little shaky, but he's the captain.
mm,
And he's an absolute legend at that club. So it's going to take a serious, consistent level of underperforming for them to even consider dropping Van Dijk.
yeah,
And Kanate is a really, really good player in my opinion. So I think that's why there is a little hesitation. I'm not saying Gay's not going to go to Liverpool, but what I'm saying is like people are thinking, oh, why is he not jumped at the opportunity of going to Liverpool? It's World Cup year.
yeah,
Gay needs to be playing for him to be in contention of starting or squad selection for England.
yeah. No, I agree. But if Trossard is underpaid, does that not encourage him to leave? This is a different conversation. All I could refer you back to is Nelson and Nketiah. There's other players that we've had that we didn't particularly want to keep, and they've still had better contracts given. So, yeah, I still expect there's a possibility that he will go. He's still speaking to other clubs, so that gives me possibility that he could still go. His fee has not changed. He's still worth 20 million quid. You offer 20 million pounds, you offer him 150,000 pounds, he will leave. It's not that difficult. Inter Milan are one of the teams that are interested in him, so why not? Yes, I expect at least one. No left winger coming in. Don't rule it out yet. Hope you do. No, I am not. Still don't understand why Trossard has been given a higher wage. Makes it hard to sell him depending on what he's now on. As like I said, what normally happens is when a new contract is given, that means their fee goes up because they're on a longer contract. He's not on a longer contract. He's just on a higher wage. Not going to be extraordinary. No, he's not had his wage doubled. It's not £180,000. It's probably around 110, 120,000. I don't expect it to be any higher than that. And that falls in line with it's still under Cini's wage. So yeah, it's basically what Kieran Tierney was on. Kieran Tierney was on 120,000, and don't forget he's still left on a free to Celtic, and I guarantee he's not getting 120,000 pounds at Celtic. I guarantee it. I'm having the thought of which chat I'm going to try and kick up to that. GT literally about his disappointment at Arsenal. Who's GT? Oh, you.
Are you talking about me? Yeah. That was a couple of days ago when I just lost my mind.
Okay.
I was just like, but I will, like I do. Like, you know what I mean? I am disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the business that's been done so far, but I'll be real, like as a fan, and this is again what people need to understand is that yes, we do the shows, yes, we tweet certain information, but I'm also a fan. Do you know what I mean? And me, I had my heart set on Eze because by all accounts, that's the way the deal looked like it was going until recently. And that's even been reported in the press. Like over the last 2 weeks, there's been like a pivot, there's been a change.
Yeah.
But as a fan, I wanted Eze, and right now it doesn't look as though we're getting Eze. So I'm not going to be walking to the top of the mountain singing Kumbaya, and do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be annoyed, like
Yeah.
like people seem bemused as the fact that why am I annoyed? I'm annoyed because there's a player in my heart set on that is probably most likely to not come to the club.
Yeah, I get that. 52. If the window was to close tonight, what would you both rank our window for? What about you, G?
Right now,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably be a little bit more positive, not positive, but a little bit more optimistic and say a 5. The reason being, despite the feeling I have right now, we needed a backup goalkeeper. We got it. I think Mosquera is going to be a phenomenal signing.
Yeah.
I think Norgard as well will be a reasonably good addition to the squad. Considering obviously we did also get Zubimendi. Zubimendi is absolutely class. Question marks definitely for me personally over the Madueke deal, only because if we don't go on to get a left winger, But I think Gyökeres was my star signing for striker. I
Yeah.
knew we weren't going to get Isak, so Gyökeres was the guy I wanted. So Gyökeres, like that's massive for me. I know sections of our fan base are already slating the signing. I mean, what do you expect? This is our fan base.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But for me, yeah, it's probably a 5, even potentially a 6. The reason why I say 5 or 6 personally is because people are saying that the transfer window is a complete disaster, and I get it. But then if we sign Rodrigo, it goes to a 9. It can't jump
No.
from a like 0 to a 9 because we signed one player.
Yeah.
So we have to be kind of realistic. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'd say me personally, the window is like a 5 and a 6. I think if we got an Eze, that would have taken it to maybe an 8. And then if we got the left winger, I think we're looking at a 10 window. But if we still manage to sign a marquee left-sided player between now and the window, for me it's comfortably an 8. So at the moment I'm sitting at around 5 or 6.
Fair enough. Havertz can play at Havertz can play. No, he's better than that. I know people don't like him. I get that, but for me, I actually rate him. So Vieira will leave. Kivior, big possibility he'll leave. Have we submitted a loan offer? We spoke to Real Madrid regarding a loan offer. Yeah. Do you think we'll get a left winger? Yes, because that was our main objective. We haven't given up on that. So why are Arsenal overvaulting these players? Who's responsible for that? Over what? Overvaulting?
I think he means overvaluing. I think
okay.
It's overvaluing.
Got you.
Yeah.
I don't think we've overvalued any player. I know a lot of people don't like the Martinelli price, but at the end of the day, he's young. He's got a good contract. How old is he? 22, 23?
23, yeah. I think the wages are more of a stumbling block than the actual
valuation.
And that's why I said to you, it's not just a 60 million deal, is it? Like when you put his wages into consideration, you're looking at £100 million deal over 4 years. So it's more to do with me. It's more to do with his wages more so than his actual valuation. Because the reality is he's still an absolute baby when it comes to football. Most players don't hit their prime. I know you've got your Yamals and your Sakas. Yeah, I get that. But in terms of like footballers, you just have to look at the likes of Didier Drogba, Ian Wright, Gyökeres. There are players, even Salah, Kevin De Bruyne. There are certain players they hit a certain wall in terms of their development when they're younger, and then 3 or 4 years later, they're absolute world beaters. So I don't think a valuation of 60 to 70 mil for Martinelli in a bigger picture is that unrealistic. But what I do think is fans are looking at his current form and seeing, well, he's not worth 60 million. But when you value a player, you don't just take into account form. No. You take into account age, you take into account potential, ceiling, all of these things. So again, I think there's context to everything.
Yeah, because like Zinni's not worth a lot.
No.
But I think he's worth more than what we're willing to sell him for, personally, because he's a versatile player and he's a good midfielder, but we just don't play him. But as a left back, it's definitely worth like £5 million. But a midfielder, he's probably worth 15, 20 million easily, but we're not selling him for that. So who's the other ones? Kivior. I think the value for him is spot on, personally, because he was fantastic at the end of last season. And we know how good he can be. Who else? Fabio Vieira, again. Obviously, we've spent a lot of money. We'll at least try and get half of it back. So again, I don't see a problem with that. Who else are we trying to get rid of? Nelson, I think it's around 15 to 18 million quid. I think his value, which again is pretty much spot on, really. So no one's been overvalued at all. I would literally sell Jesus for a curly whirly. So just to get him the wages off the books, personally. Barcelona suspect this fraud of a manager needs to go. Well, that's definitely a different conversation for a different stream. We'll definitely get onto Arteta at some point during the season, I'm sure. Was one of the most depressing times watching Arsenal last season. Jeez, yeah.
I think he's referring to the fact that the comment we made earlier about trust.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
I think a lot of people forget how good he was at Brighton, because he was extremely good at Brighton, and he never played on left wing at Brighton. He played mainly on the right and false nine, so more or less like a Cam type thing. He's a very good. Again, there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and people are not going to be enjoying the answers, I'm sure. Football is funny. 3 years ago, Martinelli destroyed Rafinha at Leeds. Now Rafinha is Ballon d'Or candidate. Whilst we want Martinelli gone.
Football changes quickly.
It is. It's mad.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Football changes. I remember when Rafinha left Leeds and he went to Barcelona over us and Chelsea. I remember that. And arguably it was a personal decision. We were in for him. And I remember the same gooners that wanted him when he was at Leeds were writing him off at Barca. And I remember saying, I said, listen, you don't become a bad player overnight. I said, even now, how he's performing at Barca, I would take him at Arsenal. Yep. Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Now look, Ballon d'Or nominee.
Yeah.
That Rafinha, he did it in the Prem, and he did it in the Prem playing for like, you know, a reasonably like low ranked side, which is why we wanted him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Rafinha is a quality player, and just, you know what, I think it was Temi who said it. Yeah, football changes so rapidly. You know, you just have to look at the careers of Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, Chelsea misfits to arguably GOATs of the Premier League. So it happens.
Yeah. Fixway is saying here, if we do not sign either a cam or a left wing, if we don't sign a left winger, then yes, we have failed, because our main objective was a striker and a left winger. 7 players. Cam was something that we you know, someone brought in and came up with the idea. Started the July, which is when Eze was meant to be going to Tottenham, and then it all stopped going to Tottenham because we got involved. So a cam has been more of a luxury item. Left winger would be a huge failure. One that I'm sure we'd all be very furious with. Not just the fans, but the actual club will be very disappointed. Because that you know, there's so much simulation done, a lot of stuff that worked on at the end of the last season to plan for this season, and that will be literally just thrown out the window. Might just wiped on a piece of paper and just gone.
I think we've got about 10 minutes max, Bobs.
Oh, have we? All right, yeah. Mate. How the hell have we got Nelly on that wage? Well, that was, again, sorry, but someone else is involved in that. At the time, I believe Martinelli had a really good season. I believe.
No, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
And then we got into the contract, and then it all fell off.
It all fell apart. Yeah.
You know, I did say to you, anything manager who can sanction the deal for players to leave. Well, unfortunately, it's not like we're not sanctioning the players just don't want to go. It's literally that's why I've said please leave. I've put a clue in the YouTube the title. Certain people just don't want to leave. They want to stay in comfort zone, and you know, there's a certain player that just wants to stay in London. Well, none of
I think one of the things frustrating the Arsenal fan base so much, because obviously I spend a lot of time interacting with fans on X, on Discord, WhatsApp previously, whatever. I think one of the massive frustrations for Arsenal fans is that I think, obviously, I'm a bit like this. When there's a problem, I look for a root cause.
Yeah.
And I get frustrated if there isn't kind of a root cause. But the reality is, the reason why we find ourselves in this position is because of an accumulation of different things. Do you know what I mean? From like overhyped, you know, wages, to previously selling poor, to there being a lack of, you know, interest in our players. It's just a combination, and I think that's why fans get so frustrated, because I think fans are looking for almost like somebody to blame or something to blame, but then when we actually dig deep and scratch the surface, there probably is no one real person to blame, because it's like you could argue and say, well, the players that we're struggling to sell are players that Arteta earmarked to come into the team.
Yeah.
But then the players that he, like someone like Vieira or whatever, or someone like Jesus, he didn't negotiate, you know, the wages. And then also you can't compensate that he's going to have the injuries. And then they want to say, well, why don't we just cancel the contract? Well, then we got to pay off his whole entire contract. It's like there's so much layers to like where we are. But ultimately, I'll be completely honest, none of this would matter if we won some trophies.
Correct.
None of this.
Mhm.
Honestly, like had we, you know, those 2 seasons, forget last season, those 2 seasons where we ran City right to the last day, had we won those 2 Premier Leagues, I guarantee you not, we would not be having these conversations in terms of looking at the club with a microscope. Because I'm telling you now, the proof of that is you've got Liverpool who have just won the league. Liverpool are not really bothered. Liverpool fans are not really bothered about their bench.
No.
I saw their bench in their opening game against Bournemouth, and it's absolute trash.
Yeah.
Absolute trash. They have 3 senior forwards in their squad. They've got absolutely no depth as of right now. They've got
Yeah.
no depth up front. They've got no depth at centre back apart from Leone, this 18-year-old centre back. But at the end of the day, the reason why the fans are not up in arms the way we're up in arms is because they won silverware.
Yeah, they just happened to win the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the winning silverware is what gives a manager and a club credit in the bank. And when you don't win that silverware, that's where you've got a very toxic fan base that will put every single thing that comes out of the club under a microscope. If we're sitting on a Premier League win here and Trossard signed an extension, we'd be like, oh, that's okay, no worries. We won the Premier League last year. But ultimately, we haven't won a Premier League in 21 years. So everything is just super high-end. High-end. And it's not going to change until we win some trophies, mate.
No, it's not. We've got to wrap it up in about 7 minutes. But I do want to speak to this Oliver because I've got a feeling this Oliver Martin was in old group WhatsApps. Now, if I'm wrong, I do apologise. I was pointing out the wrong Oliver. But Oliver, because I've noticed you're on X, message G, and then G will get you into the new Discord.
Yeah, just send me a message and I'll sort it.
Because I know G did give ample time to warn everyone that we're going from WhatsApp to Discord because it's just an easier place to be. To monitor, just monitor conversations and all in one place, and it's just easier. So, Ollie, I'm pretty sure this is the same person. This is why I wanted to point it out. Please message G, and G will get you into it. So there we go. Sorry, I just wanted to make that because I don't want to anyone missing out on. Obviously, we switched from WhatsApp to Discord. So I'm going to go quickly through some of these. If there's any points, for sure or unlikely. No, well. He's agreed terms with a team. Now it's a case of that team pay the fee. Simple as that. And none of this loan with option to buy rubbish because I don't want to see any of that. What's the wildlife background? It is. No, these are just. You'll get used to this, Scott. I will just randomly choose a different video of places that I just like. It calms me down. I love wildlife, and I felt this. I'm enjoying watching that zebra keep attacking G. If I'm honest, that zebra just keeps going behind G.
Yeah, I know.
It's making me giggle.
Is that a lion? Is that a lion looming in the background?
Yeah, I think there's a lion, and there's some kind of gazelle in there as well.
See them lions, they're the man them on X. They're the man them on X, like DM me and insults and putting insults on my timeline. You keep stalking me. It's fine.
If we sell Trossard, then get Semenyo or Rodrigo. I just because he's got a new contract doesn't mean he won't be sold. I've seen it loads of times, and unfortunately, it's just not highlighted because obviously we're all Arsenal fans, and we just follow the Arsenal. But a lot of players sign new contracts and get sold weeks later. And I'll be honest, it has happened a couple of days later. What it is the new contract has been agreed for some time. For whatever reason, someone decided to leak the information out. That person has been on that wage for, I don't know, X amount of time. So,
listen, that information was leaked because it was perfect timing to get as many clicks as possible.
Yep. There you go.
Because at the end of the day, like, he knows that right now the Arsenal fan base are on the absolute ropes in terms of signing Eze, in terms of signing a left winger. So what perfect time to get the most mammoth meltdown in timeline history. So the timing of that is absolutely perfect.
No, of course,
in my opinion.
Oh,
for him and their platform.
Yeah, because I can I'm pretty sure there's going to be a here we go for someone very, very soon. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
just the beginning.
timing. Oh yes. So I'm just going to go through some of the comments, looking at them. I promise you, I am reading them all, but it takes me longer to actually put them up. So if I just skip through them, it's a lot easier. I better disagree. Playing Cam. Oh, okay, I've seen that one just from Joseph. So let's go back down. So I was going up before I went down. Well, love seems to be the same and not leaving like. Yeah. It's just the way that Zebra just keeps going behind G, going, got your number, mate.
Yeah.
I think at best we'll get. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I'll be honest. What wouldn't surprise me, and I don't know if Gary's still listening, but Gary will. I know Gary will be at the top of in the what did you call that, crash out room? Is, let's say, give you.
Well, we've actually named it after Tyler.
Oh, okay. It's
we called it the Tyler chat.
The Tyler chat. Okay. Gary would be the first one in there, because it wouldn't shock me, because obviously if Kivior leaves, we obviously have to get a replacement in.
Oh my God, Bobby, just don't, man.
So I can imagine.
Honestly, if we end this window with a defender, like, oh my days.
We would have to go out and get one.
Oh, man.
It wouldn't be a big name. Like I said, it's either Laporte, I don't rule out, in all fairness. But like we'll explain that on a previous stream. But a younger one would be better for me personally. I don't think Laporte. Look, Laporte will do a great job for a season, but I don't want any of those, if I'm all fairness.
My head just got hot when you said that. We could.
So, I've got to be honest, though, mate. You know me. I've got to be honest. But yeah, forward is what we're focusing on. We've got to get some people out. If Zinni leaves, Fabio leaves, Nelson leaves, that helps us a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to worry about Trossard leaving, right? So let's just focus on getting Zinni out, Nelson out, Fabio out. Lokonga will help as well, because don't forget he's on still decent wage. I think it's about 30 or 40,000, something like that. So it's still a wage, which every little helps. Is it Tesco that says that?
Yeah. But it's gonna be a fun season, man.
I don't see you swear very often, to be fair. But it's that's just that took you back there, to be honest, because I don't die away from what. He doesn't tend to swear very often. That was pretty shocking. But no. As for this, I guarantee you will get one. What I just worry is the fact that Kivior is the only one that leaves and the only person that comes in as defender.
Bobby, let's just wrap it up before they get our IPs.
Yes, mate. Right, guys. Guys,
we're gonna get a bag at the door in a minute.
Yeah, guys, I'll be back on Friday with Brenny for the Leeds preview. Obviously, if there's any news to talk about, we'll quickly talk about it. But I do want to focus on the preview. The previews are always important to me. And then me and Brenny will also be doing the watch along on Saturday as well. G, where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, tricky show that was, especially with the news breaking. But yeah, you can find me on X. G Talks Arsenal is my handle. If you are interested in obviously joining our Discord, we did have 2 WhatsApp groups, but it just proved problematic as the community grow, because I think we've got well over 80 now. So we've got our new Discord. We've got essentially all different chats where people can have specific different conversations. We've got some rules and stuff like that. But yeah, if you are interested in joining the Discord, by all means, drop me a DM on X, G Talks Arsenal, and I can sort that out for you. I'm hoping to be back with Bobby at some point this week. If not, it will definitely be next week, Tuesday's transfer show. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. I know it's not necessarily the position we want to be in, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in and commenting and stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Look, the next in seven days are the important ones. These are the next important days. They're pivotal. Okay, we need to start hearing some like such and such getting closer to exits. They're all going to be positive bits as soon as we start hearing that, because we need to be in a good place for next Tuesday, which is why I think personally next Tuesday we'll have a lot better news, or we'll have a lot worse news. It's not going to be the same old. So yes, fingers crossed. Everyone, whatever you pray to, believe in, whatever, do it. anything that you use for good luck, do it because we need it. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Speak to you later. See you on
Take it
Friday.
easy.
Ta-ra.